Welcome to Be Inspired Today. I am your host, Cliff Wright, and I have a very wise gentleman today as my guest, Glenn W. Hunter. And Glenn is the managing director of Hunter and Beyond LLC. Make sure we get that LLC in there.
Yes.
But I met Glenn, had the pleasure of meeting Glenn about 3 or 4 months ago. And the one thing that I've observed about Glenn is, first of all, he is a leader, and he seems to be a man of choice words. He seems to be a wise gentleman. And without further ado, welcome to the show, Glenn.
Cliff, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I'll make sure that I choose my words wisely, particularly considering that wonderful introduction you just gave me.
Thank you. Thank you. So tell our audience about Glenn Hunter. Let's talk about a little bit of your childhood, your education, and where you are today, with an emphasis on helping someone be inspired to hold on to positive expectations.
Wow. So again, Glenn W. Hunter. I am originally from Southern California. Literally born in Compton, for any old hip hop fans born and raised in Compton or something like that. There were songs about it. And I lived there early for my first 5 years, and we moved about 10 miles north to a city called Carson. And I like to tell people back in those days, I'm not going to tell you which days they were, but a few decades ago, you moved from Compton to the next city when the second parent got a job. So, so I was able to leverage my gifts and was able to get through high school and went to college. I went to the University of California, Berkeley, worked a while and was able to get an MBA at UCLA. And consequently, my education is a big foundation, not just for me, but also for my family. So from a Be Inspired Today perspective, a young man from a place that's known in song and culture for having very hard beginnings to being able to achieve quite a bit professionally. I have 4 children who are in the process, grown children, in the process of bringing their particular gifts to the marketplace and showing success. And, you know, when I talk about inspiration, it just comes down to not just the tenacity of going through steps, but really showing care. You got to care. And without that, I think other components just sort of orbit the success that you're capable of having.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Showing care. And good things do come out of Compton, right?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Compton is, at one time, Compton was really a very nice place to live. And some parts of Compton are still very nice to live.
Yes,
and
right.
of course, Carson is a very nice family community. So 4 children. Tell us about your children.
This could easily take the rest of the show, so you're going to have to give me a quick nod, Cliff, if I get long-winded.
Okay.
I say that because I'm very proud of my children. I have 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. My oldest daughter is all of them are college graduates. First of all, they're in their early to mid 20s. But my oldest daughter works for an academic think tank in Oakland. My middle daughter works for Loyola Marymount University, preparing herself to leverage her master's degree in screenwriting and TV production. So I want to make sure I put that out there. So somebody will pick her up and say, you're creative and you're brilliant and we're going to pay you. So please do that for Dad's sake.
Emphasis on pay you.
Emphasis on pay you. I have a son who is preparing for law school right now. So he should be enrolled by the fall. And I have a daughter who is wrapping up her master's degree at Penn State. So she'll be out and about trying to make her mark. She's actually looking for work now, trying to get a head start on those lucrative offers we want our master's degree students. So clearly education is a very important part of my family, of my lineage. And fortunately, I have some bright kids that bought into it early. And as young adults, it makes life very interesting. You have no idea what they're going to say, how insightful and how witty it will be. So
Oh,
I
yes.
enjoy the conversations now.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And now you went to UCLA,
Yes.
and then you own your own business. So tell us about your experience at UCLA and when you were in college.
Wow. I was only there 2 years. It was a master's program, studied entrepreneurship, studied marketing while I was there. And the thing about UCLA, which is so unique, is that it's in an affluent community. You're right outside. The business school is literally across the street from Bel Air. But it's not just that. It's the quirkiness. It's the eccentricity of the student body. It is not homogenous in any way. And you'll sit there, well, there's a lot of those and a bunch of them and that, but you can't trap them in a box. You have a lot of creative minds, a lot of open minds. You have a lot of affluence, but you also have some very aggressive professionals in training there. And the thing I really enjoyed the most about it is that breadth of thought. But more importantly, when you show up for class, be ready to compete. Not just, I think I got a right answer. We're jockeying for position and we're ready to compete. And consequently, a lot of very large influential employers love to recruit there.
That's awesome. And how did that impact in your professional career?
I think the thing that impacted me the most is the fact that regardless of your background, if you got in, you're in for a reason, and they expect you to compete. So I'm not going to say it's one of those universities that coddles you so much that now that you're in, we're going to make sure that you're successful and we're going to spoon feed you along the way. That's our rival across town. That's what they do. But what we do in UCLA, what you find there are a competitive spirit that not so much that it's not collaborative, but there's this competitive air that I'm here for a reason and I'm going to stand out. And I won't say all 30,000 students possess that, but that has definitely been part of my experience. And it was also part of my daughter's experience when they were there. There is healthy competition, and you have opportunities to claw your way forward if you're so inclined. And you get a lot of great stories as a result of that, of young people doing great things and then older people doing greater things with that background.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us about Hunter and Beyond.
So Hunter and Beyond is a branding consulting business. And what I do is I help small businesses do better branding through better storytelling. Storytelling is my tagline. That's my mark. It's my favorite hashtag.
Okay.
But the idea behind storytelling, and this has been a big part of even my corporate experience and definitely my entrepreneurial experience, you cannot pull on the purse strings until you first tug on the heartstrings. You have to believe in what I'm telling you. You have to believe what I'm selling. You have to believe what I represent. You have to feel good about doing business with me. So if you're looking at me as like, I don't trust people without hair, I'm not your guy. I'm not going to talk you into it.
Hey, man.
Find another option. I'm sorry, Cliff, they're not going to want you either. But if you want somebody who's like, well, I need results. I'm in a position now. I'm not communicating with the marketplace. I need results.
Yeah.
I am your guy. So the storytelling component comes in. I want to make sure we're connecting so that you don't say, well, I wanted somebody who was witty, but but there are too many jokes here and I want it to be more serious. Well, no, you're either witty or serious, but we need to establish that up front. But the idea is to be able to communicate in such a way, not just the Queen's English, but also emotionally, so that when we get a product, when you get your output, it met your satisfaction, you feel good about it, and you want to use it to succeed, and then tell your friends.
Wow. Awesome. Hey, listen, tell us, how can a small business that wanted to contact you about your services, how can they actually get in touch with you?
So a couple of ways. Hunter and Beyond LLC. again, that's my business. So you can reach me through one of my websites at Hunter and Beyond. And you have to spell out the word Hunter and Beyond LLC.com. I use that as sort of a glorified blog in the sense, and I have some other content on it as well, but I really use that to demonstrate my expertise and my approach to business. So you'll see a lot of articles that speak specifically about business development, business growth, and also cultivating people to be in an environment where their individual growth manifests in profits. But I really emphasize that. Another one is glennwhunter.com. Glenn W. Hunter is how you find me. Again, glennwhunter.com, at Glenn W. Hunter is how you'll find me on Instagram, how you'll find me on Twitter. I think LinkedIn is just Glenn W. Hunter. But I use that, so I was fortunate enough to get in early with the social media push that I was able to secure my name and make that some of my tags.
Wow, so you had insight.
Yes, I liked the way you put that, Cliff. I had insight.
Yes.
I think reality is I had a hunch and I wrote it and it worked out. But sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I'll take luck and favor. I embrace that every day. So if you were to inspire a young entrepreneur or small business owner, what kind of advice would you give them in today's business world?
Man, I think today's business world, you really want to communicate. I think you really want to be able to tell your story. Again, I believe in storytelling because you're hitting both right brain and left brain when you're doing it correctly. And I think under the communication umbrella, you want to be able to find opportunities to speak. You want to find opportunities to write. If you're artistic, you want to find opportunities to create. You really want to show your strengths to the marketplace. So from a inspirations perspective, I like to urge young people that maybe I'm coaching or even lecturing, that you want to find your strength and then tell your story through that mouthpiece. So if you're not a good writer, well, maybe it's art. Maybe you have great communications. I can't spell to save my life, but you put a microphone in front of me and I'm persuasive. Create your content, own your content, and share your content. It doesn't have to be great. It has to be heard.
Wow, that's powerful. I think I might want to steal that quote.
My gift to you, sir.
It has to be heard. It doesn't have to be great. It has to be heard. And I hope the audience, you are hearing what's going on today, words that are inspiring you to hold on to positive expectations. And you talked about writing. And so you recently released a book called A Word from the Voice. Tell us about this publication, this new book.
Very excited about A Word from the Voice. It's a fictional work. Story is about a young man, has life going well for him, great job, great future, beautiful wife, nice home in the suburbs, the sky's the limit. And then he realizes his personal life is falling apart. His wife has gone sort of rogue on him. And he's trying to figure it out. And along this path, a mysterious, dare I say, angelic figure enters his life, says, I will be able to help you. What you lack is wisdom. You have talent, you have gifts, you lack wisdom. Allow me to work with you, and I will coach you, guide you to attain wisdom. He's looking for something to hold on to. He says, let's do it. They meet for coffee every morning. And he gives him a word, a different word every day. And then there is a written piece, a blog in essence, on that word, which points him to wisdom. The challenge that he faces as he's now navigating wisdom, again, he's killing it at work, is that now he has more awareness. And with that awareness, a very shadowy figure, our protagonist, Demand Red. I love great antagonists in my stories. He intercedes because he wants the young man to do his bidding for his nefarious ends. So
Wow.
there's this good versus evil tug between this young man who actually not just is skilled and talented, but has a very special purpose that he doesn't even fully embrace. But these two adversaries clearly understand the importance.
Wow. Powerful, powerful. That sounds like the Bible. God giving us wisdom and the enemy trying to rob us of wisdom.
As it turns out, there is a biblical thread to it. They meet, for example, the coffee meeting happens at 6:09 every day. Psalm 6:9.
The Lord has heard my prayer.
I think it's the Lord has heard my prayer. The Lord has heard my cry. The second
Yes.
one has heard my cry. I had it and lost it that quickly. But yes, the point being, that's part of the underbelly of the story, that yes, there's a biblical heartbeat throughout the entire story, even to the point of what's literally going on between him and his distancing wife. So I had a lot of fun with it. Took a while to write it. I think it's just a great good versus evil book for more secular readers. It's like, man, I got it all and it's not working. Maybe there's something else I should have to help me make this work. So there's enough secular intelligence in there to balance the biblical wisdom. But my whole purpose is to inspire young people. You are enough. You have this. You just have to make sure you stay on the path that's going to get you to your goals and not necessarily follow the way of the world.
Wow. And I love the fact that you said that this young man met with this angelic being every morning at 6:09, and they sat there and he gave him a word per day. And that, again, that reminds me of the Lord, that he does give us a word every day, and wisdom is the principal thing. And I love the fact that you said it, each one of those words lead to wisdom. Can you give us an example of one of those excerpts?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, one of the words that is used in there that I'm trying to, I don't want to give my favorite one out. So I'm
okay. All right. Give us the tidbit.
Trying to be a little bit tactful. But I think one of the words that really kind of stood out was growth. Growth was one.
Okay.
And the whole idea behind that particular one, the reason I hold on to it, is that we come into this world as infants, and we obviously we live a lifespan. But growth isn't just something that's done when you're small to be big. It's a constant evolution. And in order for growth to do its job, to constantly evolve, you have to continue to feed it. You have to feed it. You have to put into it. There has to be input. So things don't just grow. You throw a seed in the ground and it grows. It might look like that. It looks easy. But the idea is that it still must be nourished. It still must be protected.
Yes.
But it does have the ability to literally change your direction and your ability to be all you can be, again, just by having inner growth, more knowledge, those type of concepts. So that would be the wisdom behind it, is that you don't have to trap yourself where you are now, but look for opportunities to actually expand and then share what you have, because the replication is where the power is. It's not one tree, it's the grove of trees that really makes a forest.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. Those are words of wisdom for certain, Glenn. I'm really excited for you, and I'm sure the audience, just hearing that little bit of wisdom would want to know where they can purchase your book.
So the book is available on Amazon, Amazon.com. You go in there, put in A Word from the Voice by Glenn W. Hunter. It pops up. I have it in Kindle form. I have it in paperback as well. And to be honest, I've been really happy with some of the feedback that I've been able to receive from it. Some of the folks who've gone through it, You end up with awkward questions, but it's been a lot of fun. And for me, it's been really delightful to not lead with my faith, but more importantly, in my case, bring my faith with me to share. I can assure you, I'm not hitting you over the head with the Bible in the book. I also assure you there are church scenes, there are clear references to Scripture, and there is the fact that we do have an angelic and a questionably demonic figure that are wrestling for this young man's wisdom, not just wisdom, but literally wrestling for this young man. And if you think about it, those are struggles that we all have to endure in one way or another. And I think what I like to bring with that book is that it's not just you. We're all encountering challenges, and we all have the tools, if we access them, to overcome them in a favorable way.
Wow, so powerful, so powerful. Glenn, you're just really inspiring us in a great way. And I'm just thinking about our young men out there today and young women. Give them a word of encouragement. What can you share with someone, especially if they're in the valley of a decision? If they're, don't know the next step to take? What kind of inspiration or words of wisdom could you give them?
I think if you're at a fork in the road in your development, young people and old, I think prayer works. Firmly believe in that. And however that fits into your worldview, summoning a higher source of wisdom. But in my value system, prayer works. And then make a decision. Make a decision. Just because you made one decision doesn't mean you're locked into that one. Well, I'm going to be a doctor. There are doctors, they'll spend their 8 years of study, they'll get their stethoscope and they're ready to go. And like, you know what? I really wanted to paint. And we'll walk away. And I use that just as an example because we're not beholden to any one choice. We have all options. We have alternatives, even when we don't believe we do, even when the circumstances we're in darken our alternatives. That doesn't mean they're not there. That just means you haven't illuminated them yet.
Wow, powerful.
So that would be my word. Make a choice, take the path, and then navigate it as you go through. I promise you it will change.
Okay. So if a young man or young woman originally, maybe they came up in a family of lawyers, came up in a family of doctors or even preachers, they have a choice to make, pray about it first and then make a decision.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
powerful. Even if that you means changing directions.
I believe, at least in my Christian walk and in my career, you're going to change direction. In the story, you're going to change direction. It is very rare, I would say not even possible, to take one direction and not deviate.
That's right.
For example, my father's a doctor, my grandfather's a doctor, I'm going to be a doctor. Great, you're a doctor. Are you practicing medicine the exact same way that your grandfather did? The answer is no. Technology's improved. Medicine is improved. We understand the human body better. We understand the human mind better. It's not the same practice. It has deviated. It has evolved. As individuals, we have to answer the call to evolve.
Powerful, powerful. Well, Glenn, I'm telling you, you've inspired me to hold on to positive expectations because I've lived my life in that way, obviously praying first and making decisions. And I've changed directions more times than I wish to actually admit to. But each time I have changed directions, God has always landed me on my feet. And I want to inspire someone today. Glenn and I want to inspire you today that if you are in that fork in the road and you feel like you're being called to a different career or living a different state or town or whatever, just trust God.
Amen.
Amen. Give us some parting words, Glenn.
Man, you know, as we go down this path, as we're looking for our destiny, for our future, for our next step, I really appreciate what Cliff is doing with regards to Be Inspired Today. Find your inspiration. It's in there. It may be clouded. There may be a cloak over it that others have placed over it. Remove it. You know where that inspiration is. You know what makes you work as an individual. Take a step. Take a second step. That's my word of inspiration for you. Take a step, take a second step. Go boldly into that dark night. There is morning. There is morning. Not with a U. I mean, the sun is going to come up.
Yes.
So take that step and have positive expectations. If you're disappointed, take another step and have positive expectations. Embrace that. I mean, I want to borrow Cliff's Be Inspired because, yes, you can find the next thing that will work for you. You just have to continue to look for it. And if you're having trouble with that, I will give you my tagline, #DreamBigger.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I love it. I'm embracing that. Dream bigger. Amen. Well, Glenn, it has been such a pleasure having you on our show, and getting to know you over the last 3 or 4 months has really been a blessing to me. I'll say that personally, and getting to know you even better. I appreciate you even more.
Cliff, thank you for having this forum. Man, I do appreciate you, the wisdom you've given me, even when you don't know it. So, you know, I can't claim it as mine if I tell you if I tell you I liberally borrowed it from you. So, but I do appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the friendship and the brotherhood that we get a chance to share. So, thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Well, audience, I hope you've been inspired today to hold on to positive expectations with Glenn W. Hunter and Cliff Wright. God bless you and Merry Christmas.
Indeed. Merry Christmas, everyone.